What do you think about original sin? Well, I think it's atrocious theology. It was developed by Augustine and is an interpretation of the second creation story because there are two creation stories. So, this story is what's called an etiology, a narrative designed to explain why the world is the way that it is. And all creation myths are, but the second creation story in Genesis is a particularly good example because think of all of the facets of life that are explained narratively in the story. We find out why humans have knowledge of their own mortality. We discover why life isn't perfect and why it doesn't continue everlasting. We discover why there are biological differences between sexes. We find out why snakes don't have legs. All of these things are things that people were curious about and were explained in the narrative of the story. I don't like Augustine's interpretation of it, that Adam and Eve's screw up marred all of humanity, and the only thing that could reconcile humanity with God was Jesus' atonement for human sin on the cross. Instead, I much prefer Matthew Fox's interpretation of the first creation story in Genesis, where God looks out at all of creation and calls it good. That's called the original blessing instead of original sin. And you see how that reframes things. Instead of humanity being fundamentally bad, marred by this one bad decision, that instead humanity is fundamentally good. And we have been claimed by God and named as good. I like that a lot better.